You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so don't build your business without one. This is Mindset Monday, where we lay out the tools, frameworks, and mindset you need to scale your contracting or trading business today.
All right, welcome back to Mindset Monday. I'm your host, Gerritt Bake with Build Pro. We got my buddy Justin Smith with Contractor Plus in the house here, supporting each and every one of you as you continue to grow your contracting business. It's funny, right? Every year we know October-ish, the weather's going to change. And it seems like things start to speed up, doesn't it? There's more holidays, and there's more family get-togethers, and there's more parties, and there's more obligations, right? Yet we forget about the biggest obligation that we have, and that is to YOU. The biggest obligation is you. Now, as we get rolling through here and you're here live, go ahead and drop your name and your business name, and we'll give you the good old shout out. We got Ryan in here first. I like it. Ryan Shemp with Divine Decking out of Bakersfield, California. Welcome to the show. All right, so let's get rolling through this, right? Here we are. Oh, there you are, Daniel. I was like, whoa, look at Daniel. He didn't get number one today. Aw. Daniel with Nova Custom Glass and Mirror checking in from Buford, Georgia. You in the mobile office again. I don't know. Ryan's giving you a run for your money. That's for sure. So here we are in October, right? Honestly, almost mid-October. Isn't it crazy to think? Here in Salt Lake, we have had over 3.5 inches of rain in the last 2.5 weeks, which is crazy, right? We had some pretty powerful thunderstorms and rainstorms. In fact, on Saturday, I went with my father, my brother, my son, my brother-in-law. We went over to the Arizona State Utah football game, and it was literally raining sideways. Kid you not. Go to my Facebook profile and you'll see the video that I posted yesterday. But it was crazy, absolutely nuts. The temperature dropped 25 degrees in like 30 minutes. I mean, it was bananas. We had a good time. I'm an Arizona State fan, go Devils from my childhood in Arizona. And hey, it is what it is, right? We got shellacked. Our starting quarterback was out, and anyway, we had a good experience. We'll say that. But here's the point of the conversation today. We get into this mentality or this mode, and it really also happens more often than not in Q4, right? Which is where we are right now. It happens because we I don't want to say autopilot. Autopilot's not the right word, but we get into this mentality where we have to grind, right? And I don't even know. Like, I've got this weird love-hate relationship with the grind. And normally for me, like I'm a grinder, if you will. Like, if you've ever seen me run, like I'm not the fastest, right? So I'm not going to break any land speed records. I'm just a grinder. Like, I'm just going to make it happen one way or another. Earlier this year, if you guys remember, within the space of 30 days, I ran a full marathon, and then we hiked the Grand Canyon, which is 50 miles in 24 hours. And we went probably 20,000, 25,000 feet of elevation gain. And all that was just a grind. And sometimes I find myself getting in this mode where I just put my head down. It's like, I got to work. I got to do. And all these things that got to get done. And I call it the checkbox lifestyle, right? You're just checking boxes. You're just checking boxes. What's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And you're just hustling, right? There's nothing wrong with periods of time where that happens. There's nothing wrong with it, right? We're business owners. Congratulations. We got to ride the highs. We got to ride the lows and everything in between. But what I don't want you to get stuck in is grind mode, right? The quote unquote always on. And you're waking up early in the morning, you're immediately answering your phone calls, your text messages, your emails, you're hitting the door before the kids are awake, or you don't have time to eat breakfast with the kids. Your stop for breakfast is usually the gas station. You're grabbing an energy drink and a breakfast burrito, and like you're just hitting it, right? And you're doing stuff, and the problem is not the doing of the stuff. The problem is what happens when all you're doing is the stuff, right? Last week, I taught 3 project management classes. I think a total of probably 100, probably about 100, maybe 110 total contractors that I worked with. 2 of the classes were specifically for business owners, and one of them was for project managers inside of other businesses. And I'll tell you from those conversations that the majority of contractors are still in grind mode. They're still thinking like, hey, I got to be the one that does this. I got to be the one that handles this. I got to be the one that stays up early or gets up early and stays late, right? Like, I got to be the guy. I got to be the guy. And you almost wear it like a badge of honor. Like, hey, bro, it's 11 o'clock at night. Check me out. Still doing estimates, right? Hey, bro, it's 4 a.m. hitting the road for that first job, right? And we're like enamored with this hustle and grind mode. The problem is it's not going to take you where it is that ultimately you want to go. It's not. And I know this, again, based on experience. I think this year, I'm going to have to update my slides. This year we'll have crossed over 1,000 contractors that we've worked with. And I'll tell you the theme that I see across the board. But first, I want to give you a couple stats. Okay, ready? 42% of contractors, 42% say that they experienced burnout in the last month. 42%. This was according to the Life Hack Method. 42%. That means that probably 1 out of every 2 of you did, if not more, right? Here's another stat. 33% of contractors report working more than 50 hours a week and experiencing some sort of burnout. Now, working itself is not a bad thing. Trust me, I'm a worker, okay? But it's working for the sake of work. That's the problem, okay? As I've gotten older, I would like to say I'm getting wiser. That's debatable. I'll have to ask my wife on that one. As I get older, we start to look at this and go, is there a better way to do it, right? Is there a better way other than me doing everything? Inside of our commercial construction management company right now, we're focused on growth and additional opportunities. But the uniqueness about this business is we're not growing by doing more. We're growing by adding more people that can do more. Think about that for a minute. We're not growing by doing more. We're growing by adding more people that can do more. Give a little shout out here. We got Alex Christensen with Rustic Mountain Build Design out of Collinston, Utah. Welcome to the show. Edward Schwartz says happy Columbus Day. And Amanda with Almost Anything Remodeling. Welcome to the show. Now, listen, as you're thinking about this, okay, I want you to picture this. Once a year in January, we do an annual workshop with clients. You guys are all invited. Don't worry, we'll give you the invite. Once a year, we do a meeting with our clients. And during this meeting, we ask a very simple yet profound question. And it's this: what if next year you couldn't do anything that you're currently doing in your business? What if? What would you do? And it makes you start to think about, okay, well, what do I need to automate? What do I need to get rid of? Who do I need to hire to take over this thing? Right? We got Julie and Bert. Welcome to the show, Julie. So the goal then is not to do more. The goal is to learn how to grow the business by having other people do more. We're currently in this weird place, I'll call it, right? Internally with Build Pro, is we're starting to hire more people. We've hired one coach, about getting ready to hire a second coach. And we're looking at, for lack of a better term, an event coordinator, because we run our monthly workshops, our quarterly workshops, and our annually workshops. There's a lot of moving parts inside of that. So we're looking at adding more to the team, but it's not by me doing more, right? So I want you guys to start to think this way. What would my business look like if it grew by me doing less, not more? Okay. Now, we have to pop a little bubble, and that bubble is your ego. And that's your ego saying that I have to be the one to do the thing. I have to be the one that does the custom glass. I have to be the one that builds. I have to be the one that does plumbing. I have to be the one that does excavation. I have to be the one. And if you continue to think that you have to be the one, then you're screwed. You're screwed. Your business will never grow. Last month, I went to California to visit with one of my clients. And during that time, we actually had a workshop here at the office. It's the first workshop I've ever had where I was not directly involved. Yes, I planned and organized it, but I wasn't directly involved. We had Ryan, who's our marketing expert, and Adam Breen, who's a home builder, run the workshop. And then we had my wife, who stepped in here on the back end and helped coordinate everything. But I wasn't involved. And guess what? It went off without a hitch. And all of a sudden I saw, wait a minute, I don't have to be the guy. I don't have to. I don't have to be the guy that sends out the reminders. I don't have to be the one that puts the presentation together. I don't even have to be the one that gives the presentation, right? So I want you guys to start thinking about this as we move into Q4. Daniel says, I experienced a period of boredom or lack of motivation middle part of the year. Somehow without even noticing until now, I have moved past it. Not sure when I got past it, but I did. Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Consciously aware of what's happening. So let's work through this, okay? One way or another, you're going to pay the price. You're going to pay the price in your relationships, in your health, or in your bottom line. You're going to pay the price. So the question is, how do we turn productivity into effectiveness? Like, how do we do that? How do we make sure that we aren't making more mistakes and errors because we're tired? How is it that we can actually bring on higher quality people because they're drawn to our focus, our energy, our clarity, and not like, I don't want to work with this guy. That guy's grinding like 80 hours a week. Am I going to have to grind 80 hours a week too? People don't want that, right? So what do we have to do? So number one, more than anything, look at what you're doing on a weekly basis, right? Now, you're probably wondering, well, how do I do that? Well, hopefully you're using a calendar, okay? But look at what you're doing on a weekly basis. And what I started to do is I said, okay, what is something that I keep doing repeatedly that I can hand off to somebody else? Super simple question, right? What am I doing repeatedly that I can hand off to somebody else? Funny story, perfect example this morning. We've been doing Mindset Minded for a couple of years now, right? And Justin and I usually are on the back end coordinating, hey, you know, what's the topic and what are we sending out? What's the message? All this stuff, which is great. Until I realized this morning that I've been doing that for 2+ years. And I sent a message to my office manager and I said, hey, instead of you sending me the email that you created about the workshop or about Mindset Monday, and then I take that and forward it on to Justin, how about from here on out, you just send that directly to Justin? Now it sounds silly, right? It takes me, 30 seconds, right? But I got to find the email, then I got to send it to Justin, then I got to tell Justin that I sent him the email. How many of those 30-second, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30-minute tasks are you doing throughout the day that are distracting you from what you should be doing, right? Again, just a perfect little example. With the relationships that I'm building in our commercial construction management company, I have a time during the day that I focus on building those relationships. Outside of it, I don't. But guess what? Now I've started to deploy my team to help me set up those meetings so I can show up prepared and ready to go. And I'm not stressed out throughout the day. Did I email that guy back? Did I text him? Did this happen? Did that happen? No, we're leveraging the team to get that done. So I want you guys to start thinking about this, okay? What is one thing this week that you could either stop doing because you shouldn't be doing it at all, or even better, find somebody that you could offload that task to? What is that thing? I'm going to tell you another example as we continue to talk about this, and I'm waiting for your responses. I have an accountant, if you will, part-time. We'll call her a bookkeeper. I think that's a better thing for her because she's not certified, but she manages my books, right? I hate balancing books. I hate looking at numbers. I hate categorizing receipts. I hate that stuff. It's not my thing. There, I said it. You happy? It's probably not your thing either. But what I realized when I hired Layla was I could have her do all of that for me. And we meet together once a month with whatever additional questions that she has. And I answer them. And then I don't think about it for the rest of the month, right? Think about that. How much time do you spend trying to categorize your expenses or trying to make sure that your books are where they need to be? Or even worse, are you the person that when it's tax time, you're spending who knows how many hours trying to make all that stuff happen, right? Find somebody to help you do that. Find somebody that can do those simple, little, repeatable tasks for you. Okay. So think about it this way. Okay. The first thing that has to shift is not your actions, but it's your mindset. It's your mindset around, I have to do this thing, right? Do you though? Do you have to answer all the phones? Do you have to be the one to send out all the estimates? Do you have to be the one that manages all the projects? Do you have to be the one that orders supplies? Do you have to be the one that sends out the bills? Do you have to be the one, right? Now, for some of you, you're like, hey, I'm still small. It's just me. I get it. I get it. But could you hire somebody part-time, or could you hire somebody on an hourly basis? Literally, that's the relationship I have with my bookkeeper. I pay her by the hour. And some months it's 4 to 5 hours, some months it's 10 to 12 hours. But I pay her by the hour, right? To make sure that I don't have to do the thing. Because think about it. At the end of the day, if you're doing the task that is duplicatable and repeatable, I like to call them $10 an hour tasks. If you're doing those $10 an hour tasks, what are you not doing? What conversations are you not having? What follow-up are you not involved in? What jobs are you not finishing out, right? What are the things you're not able to do because you're stuck doing those $10 an hour tasks, or stuck trying to remember what those $10 an hour tasks are? So you get on your computer and you start thinking about it, but then you get distracted, and then all of a sudden the messages start coming in, and then soon an hour or two has passed and you're like, what just happened? You're like, I have no idea. I have no idea. We got Chris Stillman says, chat hasn't worked the last couple of weeks for me. I can chat now. Yes, you can, my friend. We appreciate you being here. So this week, start thinking towards this quarter, right? If we want to remove grind, or let's call it a little bit of grind. We're never going to fully remove grind, but if we're going to remove a little bit of grind, what is it that we're going to remove, right? A lot of you guys are using CRMs and you should be using more of them, but what can your CRM do for you? Justin and I were just talking about some automations that he's building. By the way, Justin's a tech genius, but some automations that he's building that's going to make his life easier. Things that can be automated. They're duplicatable tasks, right? So what is it for you? What is it for you that you need to start either automating or finding someone else to do, or as we said before, get rid of, that ultimately isn't going to help you get to where you want to get to? And listen, it's usually the obvious ones, right? It's usually the obvious ones. Here's the next one for me. And this is going to be strange for me because I've been in a habit since, I was working as a police officer. The first thing I would do when I would log on is I would check my messages, right? Who's emailed me? Who do I need to follow up with? Who's this? Who's that? And I've carried that through. Now, it's not the first thing that I do in the morning. Usually I'll wait until 7 or 8 o'clock before I start looking at messages and responding to people. But it's also something that I don't need to be doing anymore. So last week we started this kind of a little bit of an experiment. I had one of my assistants. I said, okay, people in my email who respond asking for copies of my presentation, or they're asking for PDFs, or they're asking for any of this stuff, I need you to respond to them. And it worked great. It worked great, right? I loved it. And so now this week, what we're going to do is we're going to have her start to filter through my inbox and clean up all the stuff that is junk. I don't even need to see it. Just delete it for me. So she's going to be in there 3 times a day, 8, 12, and 4. She's going to be in there 3 times a day, cleaning stuff up and make sure that the only things that I'm seeing in my email are the things that I need to respond to. Otherwise, they're not there because I spend a lot of time in my email, probably like a lot of you guys do. So this week, find one task that you're currently doing that, again, you don't need to be doing. So you can either get rid of it, you can delegate it to somebody else, right? Or you can automate it. Find one task this week. And every single week, think about it this way. There's 13 weeks. Yes, we've passed a couple already, but there's 13 weeks. Let's call it 11 weeks left in the quarter. What if you got rid of 11 tasks by the end of the year? What could you focus on? What would your business look like? There's an electrician that we work with, and bless his soul, he hasn't even been responding to bid requests in his email. because he's been too busy managing projects. Now, we've been working the last few weeks and he's finally got a project manager in place. Think of how much more work he's going to have when he can focus on closing the work and not managing the jobs. So big or small, whatever it is for you, think about it this week. What do I need to do this week to make myself more efficient, to get myself a little bit more out of the grind? That one task that I got to get rid of, that I got to delegate, or that I got to automate. All right, that's it for today. If you guys are interested in joining our Build Pro Blueprint program, we're actually kicking our next one off this week. The next one will start here in a few weeks. But if you're interested in it, you can go, let's see, do we have the website? I think I do. I don't know if I got that to you, Justin. Let me see if I can find it here. I think this is it. Double check. Nope, that's not it. Well, I'll get it to Justin and we'll get it over to you guys. But for now, just do the thing that needs to be done this week and eliminate the thing that you shouldn't be doing. All right, you guys know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.